OMG, hi. Hey, everybody here. Hey, Graham, LP, VOD Watchers, Lookers. It's great to see you. Yeah. I hope you've all been super well. It's so great to be back. It feels like it's been forever. Yeah. Yesterday, my voice just like, it croaks. It stopped working. It's fine. It's fine. I do love to hammer the war. Hammer the war into 40k blocks of wood. That's right. It's like love not war, but war not nails. We don't use nails with hammers. We use a war. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Feeling better. I've been drinking some water. I got some rest. Yeah. This weekend was a really big collab on the channel. I was on Arctic Song's channel too. I just collabed for like 15 hours. 12. It was a lot of hours in total. Maybe not that many. 8. It was a lot and my voice died, but it's fine. We're so back. Yeah. I still feel pretty new to Warhammer. Like I sort of know, like there's corn, there's blood for the blood gods. There are a few things. And yeah, I was doing some reading in the comments. Like someone was saying that 40k, it's not the year, but it's the price of the minis. So I still haven't looked up the minis. I'm scared. I'm scared now. Oh, corn is the blood god. Perfect. Yeah, corn, the blood god. Not vegetables, not plants. Corn, blood, perfect. But yeah. Super excited. Today we're looking up Bricky's Every Warhammer Faction Explained Part 1, because there are apparently more parts. So please check out Bricky, subscribe, like Bricky's videos, go watch. The amount I've spent on them. How much have you spent, Yog? How much? Hey, Striker. Oh, good night. Good evening. I don't know what time this is for. I think this is degen hours for a lot of people. I'll work it out. I'm scared. It'll be like Yog at the end of the stream, after hours of calculating, comes back with a number. That's horrifying. Oh, crafting your own's fun too. I wonder how often people do that. Like make their own miniatures. I think that's so cutesy. You can like come up with your own character and like features. It's not just painting. Yeah, that's so exciting. Yeah. Someday I'll play like a real tabletop game and like have a mini and everything. That could be so fun. Someday. So yeah, I do have a different overlay sort of setup, and I'm excited to like give it a try. So let's dive in. Poof. And so yeah. Here we are. Here's Bricky. Please go support Bricky. Check out the channel. Like, subscribe. All the things. Not too often. I made a Chaos Marine Corps. Chaos Marine with 3 arms and spare parts. Wow. Just spare parts because you just have mini parts lying around. Still, that's crazy. There's also a kit bashing. Oh, kit bashing, where you mix parts from different models. That sounds so fun. Just mix and match. I've never heard of this. Also, hey Kitsune. Here goes nothing. Every single Warhammer 40k faction explained, part 1. Let's dive in.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I'll be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about, to add a little bit more context and possible comedy too.
This is the best thing ever. Okay, just starting off, this is the best ever. I love this. It's a bit quiet. Okay, perfect. I think so too. Let me hear.
Which faction?
Okay, maybe this is a little better.
we are currently talking about to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello
It's
everybody.
incredible.
My name
It's incredible.
is Bricky.
Yeah, go check out Bricky. Here are all the links. Bricky merch, Twitter, X Bricky, Twitch Bricky. For the DLC, getting a lot of slacks. That's hilarious. Honestly, I'd be down for a pop cosplay. Yeah, DLC. DLC.
And this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need two hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore.
Explained part. I'm sure the series will go like so long, like forever. It's like the Attack on Titan names. Part 5, Section A, whatever. Yeah, the last one. I wonder how many are there new factions added super often, or is that like rare? I don't know if it's been like the same faction since the very beginning, like 30 something years ago, or if they've like sort of added more. I think there are some more recent, right? Final season part 3. I've already hit 2.5k pounds. Oh. Ooh. About 1 or 2 every 6 years-ish. So there are more coming. That's exciting.
A little bit of
exciting,
about the tabletop, mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see, Warhammer.
Yeah, I've never heard of war or hammers, so this will be nice. Nice to explain.
And Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw
Also these
swords.
animations.
They got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there.
The animated orc. So I know there are lots of animations that are on my list. People have recommended. Newest are the Space Dwarves. Don't know if they'll be in the video. Space Dwarves. Space Dwarves. I don't know if they were mentioned in last week's video. Just a red dwarf. Oh, the Tau. Oh, they're not in the video. I see. It's fine. Part 2 coming. I think there is a part 2. Maybe part 3. We'll have to find something at some point.
There, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little
heretical
bit of
viewer.
Curious about each of the different races and factions.
I'm totally a heretic.
In Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so.
So these are Grey Knights, Imperial Knights, Eldar, Dark Eldar, Necrons. So we learned a little bit about these last time, but like I'm still confused. Last year on the 1st of April. So that was pretty recent. They have like 0 lore. Ooh. So they're just kind of here. The Space Dwarves exist. We acknowledge they're like a thing. They're real. Maybe. Totally. And we just don't know anything. I see. It's a literal April Fool's gag until they confirmed it. That's incredible. We have elves, or like sort of elves, and now we have space dwarves. I love how they're just called space dwarves instead of like some new name for dwarves. Or just dwarves. They're space dwarves.
Different with the things that they believe in, and some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got aliens, and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about, and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So
yeah, it feels a little like a lot of the visuals, like sort of like dark Arcanites, like gritty Arcanites. If Arcanites Endfield goes to a lot of places in space, that's the vibe I'm getting. The kin of the Leagues of Votan. Oh, their name is the League of Votan. They're just, Space Dwarves is like a nickname. It's actually called, okay, perfect. I was like, we have the Necrons, the Dark Angels, the Chaos Space Marines, and just Space Dwarves. Just space dwarves. I guess space marines is kind of the same as space dwarves.
So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k
There are space
universe,
wolves too.
at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore.
Adeptus
I'm going to give you
Arbites,
a pretty solid overview of
Arbitage,
each of the different factions
Arbit.
and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well in case you are curious about that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer
Human.
lore.
Human go burr.
What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes
40,000.
place, is in the year 40,000, 41,000 AD.
And so this is like a map in the background too. The Gothic sector. Space has a Goth sector. Scarus, Calyx, Final. There's so many. Arfinial. Arknights is literally 40k. But less Grimdark. It feels like in Arknights you have the same number of factions, but it's like the world isn't as far gone, maybe, and also you're just on one planet. I don't want Arknights to be like Warhammer. Yeah, the operators are, yeah, they're too wholesome. They've already been through so much. They don't deserve this. True.
You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne
Yeah,
of
the
Earth.
Emperor.
He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods and master of a million worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war.
Okay, I was waiting for this quote to finish, but before we keep going, so the king, the emperor, not king, the emperor is like powered by 1,000 sacrifices. I don't know how much of this to take literally because I know some of this text is like propaganda or like not true or like there are lots of, you can't always rely on every narrator or something. And so I don't know if that's literally, but that's crazy. I know a little bit about the emperor who's like on the throne and not really alive, but kind of like life support alive, you know, because no one wants to pull the plug or it's like heresy to talk about it. Yeah. I'll go into it. This quote is the source of Grimdark. The source of Grimdark. That's crazy.
Been forgotten, for in the grim, dark future,
Grimdark.
there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. Everything blows, and it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction.
Really?
Or at least like top 3. Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War.
Dota. I've never played Dota. I've just heard things. For speaking heresy. Yeah, wait, I can explain. Gets tackled. Gets dogpiled. Matery. But yeah, I feel like even Project Moon, Lobotomy Corporation, like, they're really dark stories, but I feel like there are other themes like that get you through. There are other sort of hopeful themes, or like at least not like all the way gone themes that get you through. You know, like there are really sad stories, but it's not like this. There's still a little, like the tiniest bit of hope.
Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who
so
you
it's
believe
literal.
to be your god. Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy.
Yeah, so Xenos are, if I remember from the last video, they're like people who have the power of warp, or like chaos power. Whatever this other like dimension is, the warp dimension with like the chaos like gods or whatever. Those are Xenos. Okay.
It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks. But that's like the charm of it. See, everything in
Yeah, that's what makes it
is
charming, cozy.
evil.
Yeah.
But being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity in its own right is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like mid to high tier evil.
Mid to high tier evil, playing low tier for fun. Guys who bring food at the bottom. Evil skill. My roles. That guy. Hey, loot psychers have the word magic. Xenos is just a general term. That's right, aliens. It's psychers for magic. I see. Hey, Milko, John. For the dark gods. Tau players. This is crazy. I feel like Tyranids, because we like learned a little bit about them, they don't seem evil. They're just like kind of doing their job. They're just like ants spreading their colony or whatever. Like finding food or I know it's creepy, but
on the evil scale of Warhammer, nobody is good. No matter who you are, everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They've got cool outfits. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
It's hair, whack.
Humans.
Hair, whack.
The Imperium.
Whack and Horus Heresy. Okay, so we're learning the Heresy. The hive mind's extremely malicious. At the very top, it's Warhammer hive mind. WH40k hive mind.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race.
Oh, you mean Tyranids? I see.
All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man.
I'm sorry, these shots, this editing must have taken forever. This is hilarious.
Was the emperor of mankind, a 10-foot-tall psychic demigod who led
king of
humanity
greed
across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age.
He sort of looks like old Sephiroth here. Like if Sephiroth had a dad or like a grandpa. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Buff Sephiroth, or like Sephiroth in a bodysuit. Yes, succumb to the dark arts. real. All of humanity's under. Yeah, just this emperor.
This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that.
Do you think in this world there's just at least one person who's like everyone's using their psych powers to fight, their psycho powers? Do you think there's at least one person who's just like a street side magician who's like pulling a duck out of a hat, or a rabbit out of a hat or whatever? There's just one psycho on the street. Everyone else is obsessed with war and fighting, and this one psycho is just out there, just having fun. I'd like to think there is. Just one person.
The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 20.
Primarchs.
18
18.
Primarchs to have them lead
Also, all this artwork.
all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and planets to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all
I love all of their designs. I think I'm just realizing they all have canon designs. Like in the other video we saw, I think from Luton, it was very, like we heard about Horus a little, but like they all have their own designs. That's crazy. That's crazy. The random psychers just die. Being unsanctioned psychers. That's rough. Maybe for at least 5 minutes that happened. Maybe there's one person.
all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you're wondering what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier, the warp, that Imperium, the hellish place?
Yeah, I still can't read the warp after playing Library of Verona without thinking of you know what. It's fine. We don't need to talk about Lovetown. It's okay. It's okay. Why did you decide to call a guy literally named Heresy his War Master? Is the Emperor stupid? That's a great question. Honestly, it's kind of like doomed by the narrative. Like you did name this person Heresy, like literally heresy. So what did you expect?
In there relies the 4 chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp being kind of evil, those chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they,
for the longest time, I used to call coup, or like coups. And it's fine. I didn't realize like the P was silent. Hey, Rodion. It's like Doug Bowser becoming Nintendo CEO. It is taking over. Bowser takes over Nintendo. Is Doug Bowser the USA director or something of like Nintendo America? I think that's who Doug Bowser is. But yeah, Bowser taking over.
Shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor, and right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon.
Yeah, the Emperor just became another Sans AU, and it's fine. I think at some point every universe turns into Undertale, but like, that's rough. That's rough. Sans with a red eye.
So long as he stays alive.
Is that like Underfell?
1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North Star. If you want to do interstellar travel in 40k, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going, go through there, and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft.
So the Emperor's body like powers this portal that lets humans go like through to other places like far off in space. Sort of like the Emperor's power that's being powered by like 1,000 people. Ooh. Horus was named by his adopted parents when Chaos was teleported away from the Emperor. Oh, that's kind of cute. It does sound like a warp train. It really does. A warp train that instead just costs 1,000 people to use. It's not like costing like so much time. It's just 1,000 people. Astronomicon's a beacon. Oh, like a lighthouse. He's also sealing a warp portal in the palace. if he stops, the entire planet would be eaten by demons. That's crazy. So maybe it is a good thing that the humans are like so gung-ho with like religion and heresy, just because if they doubted the emperor, if they pulled the plug, it's over. No more space, no more warping, and just lots of demons. You know,
But
not
you can
pleasant
shorten
things.
The distance between going to areas. So long as the emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive,
yeah.
you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for.
I mean, honestly, maybe that's a better thing to believe. Like, believe that things were a lot better, like are a lot better than they actually are. Maybe they couldn't handle the truth. Not gonna lie. First, the self-destruct contingency would activate, and Terra would get destroyed. That's crazy. Yeah, why are they still on Terra? Why don't they all just leave? You could take everything with you and migrate somewhere else and capture somebody. I don't know how that would work, but like capture someone else's space travel. Yeah. Maybe they just like Terra so much.
So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind. And all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them.
That is funny. Maybe the only section, or like the only planet in the gothic section of the universe is just Terra. It's just Terra. We're the only goths out there. That's wild. They lose warp travel. Yeah, if they don't keep doing it. Exactly. Ooh. Oh, thanks for the game suggestions already on. I'll come back and look at this. It's the Star Rail train. Yeah, all I see is Honkai Star Rail. That's all I see from this.
If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40k. There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such
Local
thing as
heretic
freedom
being
of speech,
punished.
so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance.
That's crazy. You know, I wonder how quickly people are to like point out heretics or things that are like heretical. I know it's like a meme, but that's crazy. Like maybe there are some people hiding somewhere, like underground or on another planet maybe. That's crazy.
Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic. And
that's crazy. It's like, yeah, I think the Chaos Gods are real. I think they're the ones who gave the power to the Emperor. Heretic. Heresy. Chaos Gods, what are those? Only Emperor. Only Emperor. New Star Rail update. New Star Rail update looks crazy. Exactly. Honestly, I think 2.4 is going where no gacha game has gone before. Yeah, it's insane. The fact that they decided to collab with Warhammer is insane. Warhammer's just satire. It is interesting to look at. It is kind of funny.
If you are an
It is kind of funny.
race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very
Also, this 3D era.
However, the largest fighting
animations.
force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
The Imperial Guard.
You finished. Man, game over, man.
The
I mean, they have Astra. which is sort of like,
Imperial
never mind,
Guard
keep
is
going.
the main fighting
Keep going.
force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves break.
I do think it is kind of funny. It's like we have orcs, we have elves, we have space dwarves, we have wolves, tyranids, like all these groups, all these horrifying groups, and then just like people, you're just humans. Yeah, just Bob, Joe, the Space Marine, Susie, just these random people, you know. I think it's kind of funny. Cannon fodder.
Breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women,
Just
wearing
regular folks.
modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate.
You're saying this is just laser tag? All this is laser tag? Well, that sounds kind of... I think I've tried laser tag one time. It's kind of crazy. Ooh, tanks and artillery of the Imperial Guard slap though? Really? Hey Jay.
Is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40k universe.
Oh, like today modern, not Warhammer modern day, today modern day. It's referred to as a flashlight. I'm sorry, the walking flashlights.
Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women.
500,000?
30,000 large armored tanks.
I mean, okay, I have to say, 500,000 flashlights, that's a lot. If someone like smacks you with the flashlight 500,000 times, maybe that'll make you die or something. I don't know. And these tanks.
10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the...
Yeah, so many people. Wasn't like World War I with like trenches or whatever, and it was like really horrifying to be like a soldier. Let it be remembered, the planet broke before the guard did. The planet broke first. It's like these people, they're out here, they're like Markiplier. I like to imagine a lot of them are here. It's like, yeah, I know this is painful. I know this is like crazy. The survival rate is like really low, but I just want to see if my body can take it. I just want to see, you know, I'm not a masochist. It'd be funny. It'd kind of be funny.
The field along with them and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's
Cracking
feet.
the planet?
And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them.
Isn't that sort of like the plot of Doom? I've never played a Doom game, but like you just destroy everything. That's sort of how it feels. It's like Doom except a multiplayer. And you have hundreds of thousands of people and like tanks or whatever. Say that's all the guards lost their minds to the chaos. Oh, that's right, because you can become like cultists or whatever. Like the chaos takes over. Like those like the demon gods can control your mind or something.
With the
That's true
steps
too.
and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin Jungle Fighters.
The jungle fighters. What in the Jumanji? I like the design. It is really pretty.
live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this steroid-looking giant knife Rambo.
Honestly, I could imagine a lot of people would be happy to like be reborn into like one of these groups, just to look as cool as this group does, this battalion does. I mean, they do have good designs, I have to say. Ooh, Katachan is like the King Kong School Island Forest. Ooh. Imperial regiments have a lot of inspirations. I see. It does seem like it's, like some people were saying it's like satire. And yeah, it feels like it's not just satire, but like inspired by the real world too. Or like history or ideals or like popular myths and like legends and things. That's so crazy.
Sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple night on their home planet. You have the Valhallan winter soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian iron
who haven't felt their toes in 300 years. Yeah, my toes have been frozen. Frostbite's rough. Out here in the year 41,000, it's fine. We freeze for 300 years and keep going.
Who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle. And then, of course, the big one, the Cadians from...
I'm sorry, the closed captioning, the Canadians. This is the strongest faction. Let it be known that 40,000 years into the future, Canadians are holding strong. It's the Canadians who pulled through everything. Guess who's here? Oh, hey, EJ. All the school imagery. I still honor Emperor Skeleton. That's crazy. If they only knew. If they only, like, if MatPat were in this universe, that'd be kind of funny. Like, MatPat, who has to, like, hide from heretics and, like, use secret codes to, like, talk to people or whatever. But, like, it's right here. It's on your literal insignia. It's right there. Why don't you see it? Canada broke before the cards. Yeah, we love Canadians here.
Cadia. The biggest
Cadia?
export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium.
Cadia died?
You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first swarm lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily.
Aww.
To quote, I have...
Okay, maybe that's why we have to call it Canada. Because if we say Cadia, it's over. It's over.
An entire battle group of the Imperial Guard. 50 regiments, including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite.
Oh, there's so many different groups. Yes, they're like prejudiced and like xenophobic or whatever. They hate all the aliens and other species. Oh, I feel bad for them. Hey, howdy. Yeah, Katie went kaboom. Honestly, biggest weakness. I feel like a lot of things' biggest weakness is just kaboom. Kaboom, kablooey. It's kind of crazy. Bricky has new favorites now. Bricky has new favorites. Imagine it's like every faction we go through, Bricky's like, yeah, this one's my favorite, and here's why. And oh, there's this other faction. I like this one better. Yeah, forget the past ones. These solo. They solo.
Faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent the main
and the
Imperial
figures
Guard pretty well. Large amounts of artillery.
I love that we get to see more pictures of the figures. They look so good. This seems like, okay, there are so many units. This game must take forever to play. Like, I know there are some chess games that take a long time, but you have to like have stats for everything and like roll dice or whatever. That sounds crazy. Kings are weak to penguins of Madagascar. Yeah, there's no surprise. Imperial Guard faction, penguins of Madagascar. Mr. Regular Joe suffering a demon. And honestly, Joe is so real for
It
this.
doesn't require a
Joe Warhammer is so real for this.
line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound.
All the flags and their detailed figures. Okay, I think they kind of look cute. I know they're like intimidating and scary, but seeing them in like chibi in this style is kind of cute. It's kind of funny. They're like war-hardened veterans. They've been through so much. They're like in this grim, dark world. And here they are with like their little chubby cheeks and like hands and everything. They look really cute. If both players know their armies, a game can take 2.5 hours. Apocalypse level games taking 9 hours. Yeah, that's right. That's crazy. I kind of just want to see it. I wonder if there are tournaments or anything, or like live games you can watch. I'd love to see someday.
Although a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately, and they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
Space Marines.
The Angels of Death are up next.
Space Marines, which are different from. So here's the Imperial Guard. Oh, that's right. This is all Imperium. These are all humans. These are all the human subgroups. So it's like the human faction. It's still Imperium faction, but you get to choose like out of all these groups. I don't know how the gameplay works if you like mix and match it, or it's like you like dive in entirely to one faction's group. That's crazy. They're attorneys. I need to watch these. I need to watch these. I played a game of 1,000 points and it lasted 4 hours. That'd be so crazy. Imagine though. You can search 40k battle report. Let me write this down. 40k battle report. Also, speaking of Markiplier, I was watching a Markiplier video and it was like a power wash simulator, and there was a subtle a 40k reference. Markiplier was like, oh, corn, and said blood for the blood gods. 40k, and they kept going. It's so random. I feel like I'll see more
Are
references.
genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger.
They're the ones that are like
taller than the average
modified.
person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium, and there's tons of legions of them. In fact,
Yeah, all the colors. I feel like this is what we listened through most of last time with Luton's video. Corn for the cornflakes. Yeah. Oh, blood for the blood god. Oh, it's a techno reference. Oh, I see. You can only play one faction. Is there a faction? Isn't there one? There's like the faction of like, it's the blue Xenos. Oh, I don't remember their like species name, but they like recruit all sorts of people. So you can like sort of have everybody, but not really. like technically you have everybody, but not quite. Firefly from Star Rail is basically a space marine. No wonder Firefly solos everything. Firefly is so strong. It's the Tau. Oh, the Tau players are evil. That's who you were talking about. That's who Brookie was talking about in the beginning.
in fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned,
I kind of like the Tau.
oversees their legion of Space Marines.
Oh, so 18 Space Marine legions helped found it. I see. Only a few. Oh, species in their group can be played on the tabletop. That's a rough, Raskar. That's rough. Tyranids are best faction. They have the most sensible priority. Yeah, they're all here for lunch. It's wartime is lunch break. Sleeping, is you sleep and you lunch break. Like, that's all you do.
The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed.
Oh, that's right too. Also, it's like eat lunch, sleep, or be lunch. Like that's the only three things. As your Tyranid life goes on, it's right because they like eat things and also get melted into things.
That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines.
Robot girly man. Robot girly man.
Jagatai Khan has the White Scars. Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists. Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard. And there's a whole bunch of other side
Oh, yeah, the
sections that are-
Ravens, Blood Angels, Emperor's Children, White Scars. They all have such great names. The Ravens, World Eaters. It's like punishing Grey Ravens. Hey Josh, it's how I tried to clone Space Marines, but they're not as good as originals. That's crazy. It's how I have no Space Marines. They refuse to bend the knee, but the Tau want them.
They're also
That's hilarious.
extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact,
So these
where they
animations,
differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman.
Robot Girlman. I think that's like the best name ever. Like Blueberry. Oh, Robot Gilliman, Robo Booty Gorillama. I love this, how you get like the name incorrect. Like every
Are the
time.
main blue boys.
It's perfect.
Strong in almost every way. The jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem. But
A little
the
too
White
strong.
Stars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks. Go fast. We're talking
Ooh, speed. Nice.
attack bikes. We're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick. You want to hit them hard. You want them to be swarming around like buzzflies.
Mario Kart moment. It's like weapons in Mario Kart. It's perfect. Warhammer. Yeah. That's how, do you have robots that are better than the Space Marines? Robots.
Buzzsaws. With the speed of buzzsaws.
The speed of buzzsaws.
Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders
Hollow Knight reference. I still need to play Hollow Knight too.
love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than thou thing because of their genetic
This picture.
strength. However, the salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is
That's so sweet. Yeah, we might be like horrible people, like in general, but like we care about humans. That's still kind of sweet. Oh, I don't hate or anything. I have a friend who likes Warhammer. Oh, nice. As long as the first name starts with a rho and the second name starts with a G. I know it's Robot Gorilla Glue. Yes. I love Robert Gone Away. Yeah.
rather rare.
Yeah.
They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes. Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much
Nocturne. I like the eye design. It's so pretty.
sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool, fun.
The tiny legs. Salamanders like to invite neighbors over. They literally like burn everything. Like let's start a bonfire. But you're the fuel. Ooh. The Tau basically bring Gundams to each battle. Ebola, they need big guns since they're terrible in melee. I'm excited to learn about the Tau as we go. I think that I feel like the Tau seem like the closest to like a good faction, or like a unified faction, or like universe unified. I wonder if they have like one Tyrannid. Like, I know it's a hive mind. Imagine they found a way to separate one Tyrannid from the hive mind. And this Tyrannid is like the chillest person ever. That'd be the greatest.
Play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is.
Sure.
Oh my God, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine Legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege.
Imperial
defense
Fists.
positions.
Siege and defenses. Okay, I'll try and like focus a little bit on these. Siege and defenses. It does feel very like shield heavy. So much armor.
Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, master.
It's basically just White Knight. It's basically just a White Knight. Let's be honest. Let's be so real. And they have buzzsaws too. Hey Alice, Warhammer, hobby for rich people. Yeah, this is the closest I'll get right now to playing Warhammer, but someday. I know there are like a lot of games too, like computer games. I'd love to try. I know there are a few on Steam. Maybe that'd be a good place to start. Ooh, mostly gameplay design.
Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf.
Sold on eBay? Oh, they get nerfed and people just like switch factions. I wonder how often that changes, like, because you get your minis, you get your figures, and then the rules change. That sounds crazy. You can always try out Warhammer. Just get some bottle caps and cardboard. Make your own papercraft units. That could be so fun. Also, hey Ida, it's good to see you. Yeah, just like find some color coordinating, like buttons or something. That could be kind of fun. Connect 4 pieces. Wait, these are the Space Wolves. These are the Space Wolves.
Vikings and wolves and tons of wolves.
Vikings and wolves.
Axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space wolves. So
The Space Furries. The furries of the Imperial Guide. We take this.
angry, big teeth. Blood angels. The genetic defect to make
Blood
them want to drink
angels?
blood and go crazy. Called the red
Vampires.
Thirst. The Cupid wing.
The Red Thirst. There's so much lore to this. So, there are vampires. There are furries. There are so many groups. Ooh, Space Wolves. We take the Space Wolves.
Stuff's a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark.
Okay, their designs are really pretty. Honestly, I feel like anyone, I could see anyone being attracted to this incredible person. They release something called codexes for gameplay. Every 3 to 4 months. That's like gacha. Like gacha's getting nerfed and patched. But you like physically own your characters.
Dark Angels are old school knights and inner
Dark
circle
Angels.
theme and
But redacted.
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once from the blue moon, I know.
Death Watch.
Are the Dark Angels the ones who like purge heretics? An inner circle?
theme and
Or do they know the truth? Are the Dark Angels like the ones who know the truth? Ooh, everyone's into Sanguinius, even space robot Egyptians. Ooh, and Rip Golden Hog Boy.
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once from the blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, fancy pantsy
Death Watch.
anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because Death Watch and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know.
No
about
one plays Death
They're
Watch.
there though. Black Templar.
They're just there. There's so many groups. Black Templars.
For the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're going to start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well.
What's crazier? Sanguine's basically sacrificed. Sanguinius basically sacrificed. Oh, in battle with Horus. That's so sad.
Like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones right here.
Okay, the basics, the
From
basics.
The Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great
Sinew.
armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck.
The designs are kind of nice. Like imagine having a group of color coordinating space marines. Yeah. Ooh, I keep forgetting these soldiers are as broad as football fields. Yeah, their shoulders are crazy. For real. And my boyfriend knew how to play it. If someone lent the minis. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people just like maybe can't afford all of this. But still like want to play it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Space Marines can eat enemy brains to learn their plans. Nowhere is safe. Nowhere is safe. That's insane.
Oh, they fuck hard. As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife.
They're
a
so
tool
big.
for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is.
Oh yeah, the folding. Are Swiss Army knives the things that like fold out, or like the knives people, the knives people have where it's like, oh, do you need a bottle opener? Well, pulls out their fancy like fold out knife. I've got you, or like a screwdriver or whatever. How much of the budget's allocated to military grade blue paint? Honestly, I wonder how much of their time they've just been repainting everything so it looks pretty, like not bloodstained, not covered in mud or dirt, or like maybe not repainting but like cleaning. A multi-tool. Someone made an orc unit out of junk, so anything's possible as long as it looks cool. I need to look up like the homemade tools because I feel like there's so much like diversity and creativity. I have to see these.
Extremely
I have to see
strong.
these.
If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
2011 Honda Civic. Whose group was this? You can just choose what kind of Space Marines. Yeah, that are similar to your playstyle. I love how, like, I guess open the game is to like different players. Because if you like to play a certain way, there's bound to be a group for you out of every faction, and like all the like mini groups in the factions. You're bound to find something. It's a game literally for everybody. The Adeptus Mechanicus.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
Technology.
The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now,
Mars
these
cult.
people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh,
Heresy.
whoa, Berkey, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well?
That does sort of sound like the Emperor, though. Like the Emperor's corpse is sort of like a mechanical deity, kind of, that controls other things. I don't know how to say this. 40% to armor and weapons. 60% is a trip to the nearest Ace Hardware for brushes and paint. Ooh, that you're predisposed to worshipping. Ooh.
That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks, and they make everything that you have. So you can't really tell them to fuck off because you're not going to win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with.
This is funny. It's like the emperors, whoever it is that's like enforcing heresy. They're like, yes, we found out about these Adeptus Mechanicus. They're kind of off the rails. They're kind of anti everything emperor, or not everything, but like they're heretics. It's obvious. And like the person in charge is like, whoa there, whoa there, rookie. We don't talk about the Adeptus. They're fine in our book. Just ignore them.
With. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard
Your
Volt,
Honda Civic.
your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work,
You have to have a spirit machine or machine spirit that like is okay with things. I think I'm like understanding what they're putting down. Yeah. Interesting. Also this throne, like, it looks like everything's connected. Emperor's personification of machine god is Omnissiah. Yeah, it does sound a lot like the Emperor's corpse, sort of like with all the like wires and machinery. Yeah.
your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes.
Oil. Okay. That sounds like it would like stain things. If you sit down with oil on like your outfit, that would stain your outfit unless it's like custom made for like the oil covering. But also anywhere you sit down. Also, these characters remind me a lot of like the modified people from like enhanced people from Project Moon, like who have like robot parts and things. They see Burr and Omnissiah the same way we see Big J. Oh, it's like a parallel to IRL religious things. If your PC stops working, the spirits are mad at you. Yeah, if internet goes down, if your PC's like lagging, if you're in queue for a really long time, this is why. Don't kick your computer, it'll make it worse.
And you need to go, homina, full stop.
A
If you
homina.
want your damn thing to work. If you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point, because it's obviously working. And if you look at them,
What's working?
I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Magos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude.
Archmagos?
Yeah. This is the group we're talking about.
This sort of looks like if a Minesweeper mine was like attached to a person, like as a backpack. They talk in binary too. So John Teeter, reverse 1999 would fit right in. If your phone stops working, do this. That's right, everybody. If there's ever a blackout, if you lose power, if your phone dies, if anything happens, do this. Do this.
These are these weirdos. Here, the Omnissian Creed. The credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death. Flesh is weak.
So this is like the exact opposite of Encore. Like Olympus Company Encore. Who's like, their whole thing is like, reject technology and like become fully human. This is like, technology is everything. I love Bricky's videos are really good. Bricky is so good. This is my first exposure to Bricky. Bricky's insane. Please, everybody, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to Bricky, like Bricky's videos, go watch all of them. Yeah. Made a ritual to turning a machine off and on again. Weird.
Weakness, flesh is death, The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened. Hard technophiles.
I'll make a note of all of these things. I'll write down everything I've got to do. Totally. Wink. I've got it.
Mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective, both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear.
There's so much like mechanics. So these are all like former people, or like they used to have human bodies and like limbs and everything, and now they're just metal things. Yeah, the Mechanicus also forbids innovation. In Core Wage a Crusade, if they ever run into Mechanicus, honestly, Cromer would go crazy. Cromer would have a time. Honestly, I'd love to see a crossover of like Cromer and at least meeting Adeptus Mechanicus. That'd be the funniest thing ever. There's a segment of the Mechanicus that studies biology and have biological enhancements. Everyone sees them as weirdos. That's funny. Biologists, weird. Super weird. They treat a toaster like God.
Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans. But if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here,
Dune Striders.
One guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time.
That's funny. Honestly, me, when I started VTubing and like didn't know how OBS worked, I left OBS on after putting everything together. I'll just leave this running for a while. I feel like other VTubers are like this too. They don't go full robot, but almost. Yeah, it's really close. It's like I wonder if they still have brains. Like in Project Moon, it's sort of similar. Like a lot of people will replace everything about them except their brain. So like eye enhancements, bodies, like they don't need to eat anything anymore. Like that sort of thing. But like their brain is still there. I wonder if it's the same here.
Until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though.
Faith?
Let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
A simp has fallen for an e-girl in Lego City.
The Lego City Adeptus Sororitas. Adeptus Sororitas. Oh, they have brains. They can't replace those. That's so funny. If you like walk up to an Adeptus Mechanicus and they're like, yeah, replace everything about you. Embrace machine, reject humanity, biology. Oh, so my brain too? I bet none of you have brains. And they all just kind of stand there in silence. Heresy. Heresy. Ooh, basically nuns in a nutshell.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's
Adepta.
how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church.
A private army?
Which is scary, and it is. The sisters are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics.
So sort of like the what are they called again? The serpent, the fire, the fire space marines. Except they care less about humans. It's heretics. Download your brain into a robot. Problem solved. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Just download your brain. Easy. Super nuns. They do seem very super powered. Like a private army. If they're the ones like getting rid of heretics, and if they're the ones facing like cultists who get taken over by chaos or whatever, that's gotta be crazy. Oh, salamanders, thank you. Not serpents. Sort of like the salamanders, like with their like fire, but a lot more, or a lot less like caring for humans. Or sort of like their focus is heretics. So, funny thing about sororitas, Sisters of Battle make 20% of their ranks. Because Sisters of Mercy run all public hospitals. Really?
Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons, the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space. And I'm talking hardcore.
Nuns in space.
They carry holy fire on their backs. They have
also all these like people are talking about skull imagery. They have literal skulls in their designs, like all over the place. This like flying thing to the top left. These like the things where the fire is coming from. The skulls are everywhere. The church only has battle nuns because of a treaty that says the church shall have no men at arms. What about women? So they just like they're using this as a loophole, and that's why it's all female. Honestly, go off. Madness of Gog Van Dyer. Ooh.
On their backs. They have holy like books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher.
Pipe organ? The musician starts playing. Bremen mention.
Missile launcher. They have small babies that they have like removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them
so
ammunition
creepy.
and shit. They drop churches from low orbit.
Drop buildings.
As mini drop pods onto battles. They drop
I'm sorry.
churches
I'm sorry.
into battles, and they blare war hymns and holy music.
Oh, that's so
from their
creepy.
frigates in
Wait, that's
low
horrifying.
atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield.
That's so creepy.
These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally stave off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from
like
the warp?
the chaos that like
well, the warp also
like okay. I wonder if like they're especially effective against demons. Like, are there different factions that are like super effective against certain others? Like maybe humans have a buff against all non-humans because they like just hate them, like xenophobia, and like this specific group might be like buffed against demons or whatever. Churches are basically bunkers. It's just dropping buildings. Drop a house. Just drop a house and GG's. Some improperly made servo skulls scream for death. I see. You'll see one anti-demon force later. I'm excited, Favel. Some do have buffs. Okay, so it's like sometimes there are like different groups or like subgroups that are strong against others. But like not all the time. Okay.
manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons. And all these girls, oh, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor.
The girl bosses ever. They're so real for this.
Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore, I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're extremely
They all have the same
cool.
hair.
They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living,
Your face.
literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model.
a funeral. So they have like a funeral procession as a weapon or whatever. This is crazy. Also, the way a lot of this artwork looks like old paintings you would see in like a history class or something, like European paintings. I think that makes it even creepier too. There are some corrupted sororitas, but like 3 to 4 for the whole galaxy. That's okay. 3 to 4 out of like your entire group, like your huge group, is still kind of impressive. That's so impressive. Bring out their patron saint for morale. They parade the remains. Imagine if they brought the emperor. Like obviously they couldn't do that. What if they like parade the emperor around? Like okay, the emperor is like stuck to a throne and like computers or whatever, like the machines and warps, but still, parading around the emperor would be kind of funny.
Those organ tanks I mentioned earlier, this shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it, it's over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, oh, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the
Bolter,
mutant,
Flamer,
the
Melta.
heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence.
Of existence. Does wonders for morale. Honestly, yeah. Look at this. Our old friend, our friend from last week, our old general. Yeah, they're still with us. Necrons parade around whole tombs. They perform miracles too. So a saint corpse like turbo change.
So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time. And speaking of burning demons.
Ooh. Okay, we're closing in on another section. Necrons parade around. Bolters, rocket-powered bullets. So those are the bolters. Yeah, they're very like fire, purge, like burn away. I'm excited for what's coming next though. Here's the anti-demon. The Grey Knights.
The Grey Knights
our
are the first
anti-demons.
army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them
Wait, they're
have
all
that crazy
psychers?
space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's 1 Grey Knight.
There's one. So it's all these psychers because like psychers are rarer, and because they're psychers, they're strong against the demons. Faith is power in the 40k universe. It does really seem
Every
like it.
1,000 Space Marines, there's 1 Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right.
Yeah, because isn't there a portal that the Emperor's keeping closed or whatever? A portal of demons. By sitting on this throne and getting fed souls. There's like a portal that stays closed. I wonder if the Grey Knights are... So someone said there was like a self-destruct button. But I wonder if the Grey Knights could be like a last defense too. Like if the portal ever opened or whatever, the Grey Knights are right there to take care of the demons. Oh no, psychers are normally weak against demons. That's how absurdly mentally strong Grey Knights are. That's crazy. It's like you buff a unit that's like weak against another unit. You buff it so much that it doesn't matter. They're just that highly leveled or like trained or whatever. That's crazy.
However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics.
Oh, that's the sister's
Coming from
job.
the
I
planet,
see.
or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also Titan, that's like Jupiter's moon, I think, or something. If the portal's opened, it would grow to cover the entire Earth. The Grey Knights can't stop the flood of demons that appear. So that's why they destroy the Earth. It's like the portal goes away too. That's crazy. Happened with Katia. That's what happened with Katia. Happened on the despoiler, lost so hard. He subjected the planet to orbital bombardment. Katia broke before... So it really did break before the guard did. Katia broke before the guard did.
These Grey Knights need to be able to harness
Canada
the
broke
warp
before the guard.
in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow.
Castellan
he has a
Crow,
demon
huh?
blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him
Of what?
because it
What
tempts
now?
everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength,
Tempt
suck my
everyone?
penis, whatever the possibility. And so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his
Forever.
chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is
You have to stay alone. So it's sort of like, isn't Lord of the Rings like this? Like the ring or whatever is like tempting. Yeah, the demon portal on Earth is being plugged. Plugged, not closed, by the Emperor's psychic presence. If he loses focus, Earth is gone. So there's already a portal. And it's like constantly, that's not super reassuring. That's not the most reassuring. The whispering happens even on WC. Ooh. Yeah, so everyone's like jealous of the sword. That's crazy.
that pure of heart and
And even like these other like pure Grey Knights are still affected by the sword, like
mind, and all
talking
the
to
characters
them.
in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only issue is that Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy. More ways than one.
Scorched Earth. Huh?
If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons and the Grey Knights arrive,
Reviewers.
kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop,
Oh, so if like they save you from fighting demons, they're also coming for you too. I see. Okay.
they're very strike fast.
That
strike
makes
hard
sense, I guess.
people. They teleport
That's
all around
fine.
the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there. You're very tough, very tanky. You hit really hard. And
just
you
a
try
small
to bounce
group,
around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard.
And some are carrying like heads of people, like the other different designs. I feel like in a smaller group of Grey Knights, you can have a lot more not customization, but like individuality in your like minis. Interspecies reviewers. What's interspecies? Hey Grey, good morning and good vibes. Grey Knights go through 666 trials as apprentices to become a Grey Knight, and they get their mind wiped to remove all former bonds. I can just imagine like an angst fic now, like on AO3 or something. An angst fan fiction of like this Grey Knight in training who goes off to join the Grey Knights and like forgets everything, and there's like one person waiting back home. Oh, it's an anime.
Hard. They're fun though if you like that kind of fast striking kind of army. Oh, and also Caldor Drago is a thing. Where do I
Caldor.
get into Caldor Drago?
Caldor Drago. I think that's kind of funny. Like how campy some designs are. Like you can see literal books or pages of like writing on their armor. I think that is kind of funny. ISR? Oh, like not safe for work. I see. Draco's basically Doom guy of 40k. Oh, like the Doom protagonist that people were talking about. Like the one who just solos all these like
All right, that is
aliens or
oh,
creatures.
goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I
The
am
hammer,
shield.
the
I am
Warhammer.
soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, you don't think they're holy enough, you want to be holier, Grey Knights.
Grey Knights. That's wild. The Noise Marines used to be much worse. They look like Space Marines mixed with Van Halen and had guitar flamethrowers. Okay, I'm also curious I know it looks like there are lots of different art styles used because in a lot of these visuals, like the Emperor looks different or characters look different. I'm kind of curious about the originals. I wonder how different the original designs and like artworks were, unless that's what we've been seeing. The Vow. It's been so long since I read that. The Vow. A friendly guy stuck and floating in space. Oh, hey Gundam. First time watching the stream, it's great to see you. And enjoy your space floating.
Now, if you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Imperial. Holier.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized buildings?
They're
Do you want to
huge.
kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them?
Okay, before I say anything else, I have to point something out. I have to point this. Let me find a picture really quickly. But you can see these like faces that they have, like the ones at the bottom. Let me find this. It feels really similar to, I think, the really stereotypical like bionicle mask. I think we've talked about this like in a recent stream, but yeah, let me find the picture. Like I think it's called a how. Don't ask me how I know this, but okay. Let me pull up this image. But it looks really similar in some ways to like bionicle pictures. The Imperium's Gundam. This image here. This one. Yeah, this one. Do you see the resemblance? Like down there at the bottom? Like sort of this design. It feels really similar. Maybe that's just me.
Medium-sized buildings. Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn? Do you want a
40
gigantic
heretics?
old school
Not so much
knight
these
noble
pictures.
house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school like house feel to them. Like literally like they're houses.
Old school house.
Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing
Also, these other like big creatures they're
whole
fighting.
swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like these
That's
things
crazy.
do not mess around, and they look so cool.
And the shot of this one space marine just like looking here, just looking on like so proud. Like that's my coworker right there. I wonder, like, are the Imperial Knights like one person, like one huge person, or like they have full house? An imprint of a pilot's consciousness is left in the mechs. Oh, it's Holland's Eldar.
Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers.
Just
And
big.
they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in.
Oh, so they each come from a different royal house. And that's why they're like associated with houses or have different like powers or flags or whatever. Each night mech is piloted by a single noble. So it's like nobility. I see. Every time you plug into a knight, you get the voices of your ancestors criticizing you. Your every move. That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny.
And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project too. Game more back
It
down
must
to
be so
earth.
expensive.
Let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold.
Golden. Adeptus Custodians or Custodes. Custodes. Ooh. Speaking of GOT.
If guardsmen are regular soldiers, space marines are super soldiers,
What are
Grey Knights
these?
are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodians are super soldiers.
Custodians.
The Adeptus Custodians are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got
You have
carried away,
3?
okay, but that's
You have 3? These are the Emperor's personal guards that he made himself. So it's like the closest you can get to like a group of Primarchs. Or like not quite a group of Primarchs, but like kind of.
all. I only have 3, okay?
I have 3.
They are our final brand of Space Marines, but these
There's the
ones
Emperor
are
again.
super special. Okay, if a guardsman is 6 foot, a space marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra, themselves.
Earth
These are the people
Terra?
that literally guard the Emperor's throne room, hence Custodians. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not
Handcrafted
humans
people?
brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers.
When Warhammer canonically make their own minis. When factions canonically make their own minis. Ooh. Custodians are the favorite of Henry Cavill. Is that like the Superman actor? He's the Emperor. He could remember every human's name. Let's not go there. What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think from a tube. These behemoths
From a
of men
tube.
are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the
just stand
throne
here.
room and every other area of Holy Terra.
I have to say, a lot of these designs remind me of Undyne from Undertale. Like the red sort of like tuft of hair or whatever it is that comes out of their like helmets. It does feel very Undyne to me. Henry Cavill is in fact Superman.
For their entire purpose in life. And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These Custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers.
They're
One
fighting
of these
orcs,
men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of Custodians as well. Like
They
the
have their
Solar
own
Watch,
factions too.
or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquilian Shield. The Aquilian Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5 foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or
I wonder if anyone actually like uses these. Like, yeah, one of the people in my faction is like protected by one of these Adeptus Custodians because I rolled my dice and they're like lucky and they're destined to be something. So I can use this. I can use this. You can't believe they let Bricky League Star Rail 2.4.
something of that nature. The Custodians work
Exactly.
in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered, but never outmatched. These people are
Always
pretty
outnumbered.
horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them. But that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons
That's
this powerful,
crazy.
and training this good.
I do really love their designs. Like all the details. This one looks like it has like hearts and like vines and wings. There's so many different like inspirations and aesthetics. Imagine them as something like guard regiments. They have different jobs and specializations, but are still custodians. Okay.
And the Custodians have all 3 of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum
100
Imperialis.
years.
I was still as a statue, but always ready, always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed.
They're like Dr. Stone up here. They're basically Dr. Stone standing still for like thousands of years or whatever and counting the seconds and everything and just continuing.
For 100 years, I did not but wait. Yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this: patience is a weapon.
Patience is a
Custodians
weapon.
are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here. 'Cause the
Sisters of Silence.
I also have a few of, and they're really
They're literally Undynes. They're literally Undynes.
fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of pariahs, or also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as
Blanks.
blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily.
So they're like not connected or like suppressed to the warp. They're so good at defending the Emperor. Nothing happened to him for 10,000 years. Like honestly, with all the threats in this world, all the threats in this universe, Like, we still haven't learned about a lot of the other factions or anything. That's impressive. That's really impressive. They have blood games. And they simulate attacks on the palace. They just do this for fun.
Because of that
Or for
mind
trading or whatever.
suppression,
Maybe
normal
both.
people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're,
People just hate them.
well, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena.
So none of the custodians can be psychers? By simulate, they mean unleash an actual threat for training. It's like if in like SCPs or something, like you released an SCP to train the facility, like LabCorp. My favorite pair of custodians, Sister of Silence, Valerian and Alia, like a golden retriever and a cat. Oh, yeah, we found the blanks.
Phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it. All of them taking a vow of silence, as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence.
They don't speak,
but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them.
They have one model. That's crazy. The discrimination's crazy. Like, you can't control if you're born a blank. Training using, real.
Which is very unfortunate. I
Real
hope we'll get
booms,
some
yeah.
news soon, because I think they should really be
Real born.
working together as it is that way in the lore. But hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks,
Oh, they're separate. So they don't work together and like, on the table. So like custodians or like the main custodians and like Sisters of Silence are separated. Custodians anti-material, Sister of Silence anti-warp. I see.
it's like assassins.
Officio Assassinorum. Assassins. Honestly, I wasn't sure where this was escalating to next. Assassins.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done.
Oh, we're so close.
The assassins, though, the Officio Assassinorum. Oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up.
Assassins. That's
So
crazy.
These are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the what was it called? Schola Progenium.
Schola Progenium. So there's this like other organization. Psychers in presence of blanks or nosebleeds is the least that could happen. Put them into any Imperial faction. Oh, assassins. They do work together, but they're allied. Okay. So another question I have is like, okay, if you happen to have a human like faction, could you play against somebody else who also has a human faction? Like if you invested in your tabletop army, but like your friend also has like a similar faction, could you still play? Or is it like oh, you're allies or whatever? Anybody can fight anybody, but really, tabletop doesn't cares not for lore. I see. Okay, perfect. Doesn't need to follow lore. Wow. There's enough lore excuses for infighting. I guess that makes sense. Like, especially with the heresy and everything. In canon, infighting is as common as breathing in the Imperium. So it just works. With your friends. With your friends, you do whatever. In official competitions. Oh, it's different. I see, Magnus.
It's basically an orphan school. If your
That's so
parents got
interesting.
murdered by demons or something, you get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus drop troop, an inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of 4 temples, because the Assassinorum works in the temple style of things.
So this is where like a lot of, I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of kids growing up and becoming things. It's been a lot of gene seeds or like handcrafted people instead of like an actual like human born person or whatever. Like going through training and life and like childhood. So this is unique, sort of. There are actually 7 assassin temples, but schemers and poisoners aren't good for tabletop models. And we don't talk about the Marores. Scroll of Progenium receives orphans. Yeah. So it's like it's like recycling. Like, yeah, we'll take these kids who don't have parents and make them like more valuable to the Empire.
These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks.
I'm far away.
Poof! The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins.
Patience is a weapon, I guess. Also, this rifle is huge. It looks like those like really over-the-top water guns. You know, like those, like you pump the water gun or whatever. It's like really heavy. They're huge. Yeah. World seems like an orphan factory. Yeah, exactly. And the unmentioned are hackers, big brain masterminds, and poisons. Imagine you have a hacker team. Like no weapons. They just hack things. Maybe they could have like mechs or something. Rifles are laser rifles. Big flashlights. I love flashlights.
Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks. Waiting for their perfect target. Taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare Temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away.
3
Temples
miles?
in the head, the jugular, for instance.
They're like lots of kilometers. If you can hack the enemy power armor, you basically win. So you could just cause infighting. Every resource must be used efficiently. That includes human resources. Yeah. It sort of seems like almost the same way as like the Tyranids or whatever, who like turn everything into like matter to make more Tyranids. Like in a similar way, but like different. Like they're sort of just making sure nothing goes unused. Don't forget the last cannons, the bigger flashlights.
And been sitting there after weeks, and when they're ready, take that shot, time is done, packs them up. The Calidus Temple, however, is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviant art. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems.
That sounds so fun. If you could like transform yourself and like, I don't know, like an octopus can like slide through different spaces, or like a cat can like crawl under a door or whatever. Yeah. Oh, gender bending. Oh wow. Shapeshifters in short. It's like canon gender fluid. Every resource has to be used efficiently.
These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up.
I'm sorry.
To get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed.
Okay, I thought 2 to 3 weeks was like a lot from like miles away. 2 to 3 years is crazy. That's insane. Vindicare can go to states that they can go for weeks with little drink and food. Yeah. That's insane.
Or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between. And lots of drawings. Lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple. Just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversor is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of things, just making you forced to watch never-ending pain. And
oh, so like cake core singularity. It's like cake core for everybody.
And psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo freeze you. And then
freeze
they drop
you.
you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost, full of just all this insane.
So they freeze you so you don't start like destroying your ship or anything. That's crazy. The Eversor takes from criminals. Basically Helldivers. Just Lobo style of action. That's crazy.
Psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs, and you just go to town. Yeah, if you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to
blank
the
is like
Caluxus
Caluxus,
temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They're described by the Eldar, by quote, as being pure evil.
Pure evil? And when they die, they go boom. Oh, so they self-destruct too. Helldivers are basically tempestuous scions. Tempestuous scions.
Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned, and then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
The presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather
tear your
gouge
skin
your eyes
off
out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus
That's horrifying.
assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, that which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear. Now for the tabletop.
Unknown and unseen. I do really like how much lore these like random groups, they're not random, but like these, like every group has. It's kind of crazy. Like there's no spare detail. Even their minis are so like detailed figures too. It's kind of crazy.
Assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are.
So sort of like Arcor. If the Caluxus are evil, then what are the Psi Titans of Ordo Sinister? Psi Titans. Caluxus make Psyker's heads go boom in best scenario. So my question is, if you're playing tabletop, if you're playing a round or whatever, and maybe this question's about to be answered in the video, but like, and you drop in Caluxus, does that mean like everybody dies, like including your side? Or can you like just use Caluxus? They're not separate army of minis. They're extra higher. Extra higher. I see.
And they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Calidus. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of Psychers, Caluxus.
Or Eversor. Yeah, Eversor is the ones that like blow up. I think they do extra damage versus Psychers. You have special stratagems. Caluxus. Yeah, I confused Caluxus and Eversor, I think. Because like Eversor are the ones who like fight everything. It's like when you don't want anything coming back alive. Does that mean a friendly fire? Goodbye, everybody. The unit near Caluxus will have a very bad day. Yeah, you'll have a very bad time.
Nice little like
bad time simulator.
If you have a specific thing you want to kill, and you get to choose which is really fun. But now, let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2.
Oh, last one.
The Inquisition.
Inquisition.
We have a lot to talk about with them.
The Inquisition. I kind of thought the what were they called again? The Sisters of something. Or the Sororitas. Yeah. I thought they were like the Inquisition. But this is the Inquisition.
Well, on the subject of heresy.
Oh boy.
Heresy.
Where do I even begin with the Inquisition?
Heresy.
Take every secret police you can think of. The KGB, the
Image is
Gestapo,
not found.
CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people. And then mark it up by about 10, and give them the most power in the entire Imperium.
The most power nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition. It's like you open your fridge, there they are, Imperial Inquisition. You go to the bathroom, Imperial Inquisition. You open your if you use a washer or a dryer, Imperial Inquisition. They're everywhere. You take a bite of your sandwich, you look at like your sandwich again, Imperial Inquisition. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. The Sororitas are Crusaders. The Inquisitors are Inquisitors. Sisters are like one arm of Inquisition.
No, you know what? How about this? This right here. It's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto. The motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence proves nothing.
Innocence proves
The
nothing.
most powerful organization in the Imperium.
That's
The
terrifying.
secret police. Their #1 motto is innocence proves nothing.
Yeah, innocence. It doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't mean a thing. No one suspects the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, surprise, heretics. Surprise. Wow. Can confirm am Inquisition. Hey, Fuzzy, you're just like stopping by on casual, not business. You're on casual time, right? Right. Sisters are different. They're part of the church. But Inquisitors can order the church to borrow sisters. Ooh. Just checking in.
The Inquisition.
Oh, yeah, we're just learning everything about the Emperor, or like nothing about the Emperor. Learning about how to serve the Emperor. Yeah. There's not innocence, just varying degrees
Goes
of guilt.
around like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The
Different
Ordo
ordos.
Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance,
There's
and
so
a whole
many.
bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons.
Demons, heretics, aliens. That's crazy. Also, how many? Like, it seems like the further we've gotten through this video, the fewer in the groups there are. It's like there are Space Marines. There are so many. There are fewer Grey Knights and like fewer Custodians and even fewer Assassins and even fewer maybe
They all have
of the
different
Inquisition.
specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people.
These feel like protagonists in a story. Like if there's a series about Warhammer, imagine I could see it being about Inquisitors. Like Ordo Chrono, Time Inquisitors, Time Killers, Time Killing Time. Becky ordered the list by how big they are. I see. The Emperor approves. That's good to hear. Also, again, their designs. There's always so much detail in these. And like, I shouldn't be surprised, but it always blows me away. Like the detail in the lore and the designs. This is crazy. There are books. I need to read the books. I need to play the games. I need to read the books. I have to learn everything.
They are above the law in every department. Over Space Marines.
Over Space Marines. So this is like in space, like one of their groups or ships or whatever.
Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area.
So they're like the big brains. I feel like they feel the closest to player characters. Or not player characters, but like the players. Like if you self-insert like yourself somehow into the story, it feels really similar. Like a group of people who are sort of outside of like the conflict in a way that they can like look down at it, almost like they're looking at a board like the players do. I recommend the Grey Knights trilogy. The Minecraft build looks good. Oh, space station. It's just a big space station. Let me write down this book. Grey Knights Trilogy. Good luck reading the books. There's around 400 and it's expanding. Ooh. There are RPG books about Inquisitors. Like, honestly, they seem like some of the most compelling to write stories about, since they have their crews. And I feel like they have a lot of agency compared to other groups, like Space Marines just take orders. Sort of. Like, they can be heroes. But the Inquisitors.
They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power.
Space detectives. This is a little bit different. Like, when I heard Inquisitors, I was like, heretics. But it's not just heretics. It's like everything. Rogue Trader is also a pretty good game. And you get a good selection of factions to your party. Like an Inquisitor, Navigator, and Drukhari. And Space Wolf. I really want to try a Warhammer game. At least one. I'd love to, like, get into it. There's a lot of books, but there are a few series. For good Imperial Knights books. Kingsblade and Knightsblade. Let me write these down. Okay. Kingsblade, Knightsblade. I'm adding all of this to my list. I read a book about an Inquisitor of the Kronos Order investigating ancient evil on a death belt of spacecrafts. It was scary. Ooh. That's crazy. Can you rack to 1? I'll write this down. 1 by Cheesy. It's on my list.
And sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus.
There's more.
Is deeming a planet unfit to be saved.
Oh, so this is like the order that calls a planet like not salvageable or whatever.
I deem that this planet is demon infested and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed Exterminatus on
just
this
destroy
planet.
it.
I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment. This can mean
just destroy the full planet.
Core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life.
That's crazy. All Inquisitors can do it? Oh, so any of the Inquisitors can just say Exterminatus. Yeah. They can all press the emergency, like, Among Us red button and just exterminate a planet. You have Orthodox Inquisitors and Radicals. Ooh, Space Marines 2 is coming out soon. The first Space Marine or Doom-like Space Marine? Okay, let me write these down. There's so many. As I was looking, I know there's a long list of games. I don't know anything about them. But, yeah, dozens of inquisitorial factions. The one soundtrack's really good. They're judged, yeah, if it's, like, useful. So it's not so much, like, they can just, like, they probably could just destroy a planet, any planet, but it's just the ones that, like, aren't salvageable. It's, like, too much of a cost. The enemy, whoever the enemies are, will, like, get too much of a boost from this planet. Yeah. If I can't have it, then no one can. If we can't have this planet, you're not allowed to either.
Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety. Yeah, you're playing the villain. Now it is villains, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one.
Rough on this one. Fight a Crypt Man, an Inquisitor, and known for something tyrannic wars, like fighting Tyranids. You just destroyed Tyranid planets one by one. That'd be funny. If Inquisitor starts to do it one after another, they can be hunted by others. I see. Mechanicus and Mechanicus 2 are the way. Ooh. Oh, they're on the way. Oh, those are the new games. There are so many games. Hey, Derek, it's great to see you. Jokes aside, some Inquisitors do feel bad for glassing a planet. Oh, that is kind of sad.
But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option when you think about it. Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options.
You just
there
put one in your army.
Content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them. And they're not
I see
quite
here.
where I want them to be.
They're sort of just there, but maybe have potential. It destroys a lot of planets. Yeah, so the bugs don't eat them. Ricky's timeline video is reading recommendations for veganers. Maybe I should go. Maybe I should just peek at the reading recommendations. The planet had it coming. Yeah, the planet's had it coming anyway. You know.
Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling
One
as
martyred
well,
lady.
because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a
Oh,
whole
the
bunch of
books,
space
the
marines
books.
killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grim darkness.
Inquisitor Greyfax. Totally not Tsundere for Saint Celestine. That's funny. I love how even in this creepy world, in this grim, dark world, I just learned that word today. In this grim, dark world, like there's still Tsunderes. There's still tropes in the world. Is it horrifying? Is there like a lot of like planet destruction and like betrayal and manipulation and all these things? Yeah, but there are Tsunderes, and that's okay. That's all we need. That's all we need. Destroys a lot of planets, yeah. He exterminates several Imperial worlds to slow Tyranids.
And wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part
Humans,
2. We'll talk about Chaos and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the Necrons and the Orcs, and oh boy, we got a lot.
Wow.
I'll see you in part 2.
That's crazy. Check out part 2 if it's out. Please check out Bricky's channel. Check out part 2 on your own time. Like, subscribe to all these videos. 9 million views is crazy. That's insane. But yeah, Bricky puts so much effort into these, and it's crazy. Pharaoh book was interesting. Inquisitor pretty effed up. Really, the Pharaoh book. Horus Heresy explained in under 9 minutes is also good. I need to write all of these down. If you have other suggestions, feel free to like comment below or like leave them in Discord. There's a link in the description. I might just need to make a Warhammer like channel and Discord at this point, because it's so crazy. Lots of views because more people are getting into it. It seems like lately this series has been getting a lot more popular. I don't know why. Like, I've heard people talk about it, like mentioned in things or like referenced, but that's crazy. At least you don't want to suffer a Tyranid hive fleet. A tentacle. Yeah, what do they have against tentacles? I mean, wouldn't it be nice to become a Tyranid? Heresy. Oh, Henry Cavill, a huge fan of 40k. Is that like just like celebrities getting into 40k is like the thing? Grimdark's the good coping mechanism. Oh, yeah, life isn't as long as my IRL life isn't as bad as a Grimdark, then maybe everything's fine. But maybe things aren't so bad after all. Cavill announced he's making a 40k TV show, and a lot of people are interested. There's a TV show like coming soon. That's insane. That's actually crazy. I have a lot of catching up. I have so much catching up to do. But okay. I have a list of games, a list of books. We'll be back with part 2 soon. Please go check out Bricky. For any videos I react to, I want to be sure to like really, really highlight. Go check out the creator for yourself too. I think it's called Dark Tide, but it's in the same universe and medieval. Ooh, co-op video game. Take your time. It's easy to get overwhelmed. Yeah, I'll take it slow, but like, yeah, I have all of you to backseat me or like explain things, so that's nice. That's crazy. Well, thanks for stopping by. This was insane. I feel like I learned a lot. This felt very like abridged. I'm sure there are like more details in the story that weren't covered or whatever, but this was insane. A huge shout out to Bricky, and yeah, thanks for explaining to me as we experience this for the first time. Yeah, we have a raid ready if you'd like to hang out with another streamer. Please be nice and take care of yourselves. Drink water, just all the things. And I'll see you all star buds. Yeah, tomorrow's Undertale fan games. So take care of yourselves, sleep, eat things, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.